And they pointed out in that article the percentage, the total percentage of carbon dioxide going into the environment. How much was that percentage? Something like 6% of the whole world's.
Yeah, it's like
is making
6
cement?
to 7% of the world's CO2 emissions, and the estimations for China are that it's even more than 10% of China's CO2 emissions come from the manufacturing of the cement powder. After water, cement is the second largest volume used material in the world, and there is no other manufacturing process of product manufacturing that generates more CO2 than cement.
Another shocking thing was how many millions of airplanes flying a year or something, like how many miles? That was something that was in the article as well. Compared, it was extraordinarily higher than all of the airplanes flying around the world.
I think it's more than twice of the planes in the world together, the total amount of carbon dioxide emission that comes from the manufacturing of the cement. So it's a huge one, but not many people are aware of it, or not many people put an emphasis on it. So we need, if we are serious about turning the tide, and coming back to one point you made earlier, Larry, how much of it is human intervention versus natural fluctuation? The planet has always fluctuated naturally. We've had an ice age, but how many humans were there during the ice age? And if, I sometimes like to use this analogy, if we were sitting on the moon, and watching down of what's going on planet Earth, we see more and more humans crawling all over, the globe. And you see these humans digging around here, to get out the oil, digging around here to get out the gas, and they dig deeper and deeper, and we've seen recently with the BP oil spill what can happen. And we see this invasion of more and more humans conquering the planet. We're extracting oil and gas, we're extracting minerals, we're extracting limestone, we're taking out the coal, we're chopping down trees, we are beavering all over the place, and suddenly a planet that had its own equilibrium is facing a massive human intervention and a consumption of raw materials and resources that is beyond anything that we have ever seen. There has always been a natural fluctuation of CO2 and of temperature, but these things have gone in sync. We are putting loads of additional carbon dioxide into the atmosphere by taking out the limestone, by taking out the coal, by taking out the oil and gas, and burning it for our interpretation of human progress. So our form of progress, all of these buildings, these cities that we have built, they are actually the ones that are at threat. And even more important, our future generations, our children. The planet will survive even though temperatures are fluctuating. The planet has survived an ice age.
But will we?
Yeah, that is the real question. That is the real question. And for the sake of that unpredictable future scenario, where we have a certain idea where it's going, and it's definitely going somewhere where I don't like it to go, because I would love to still have 3 months of snow, but I don't have it anymore. There might be some natural fluctuation there, but I am very, very convinced that the majority is us humans interfering. And let's say we are not able to stabilize the carbon dioxide concentration. The scientists that are actually believing that it's mainly the humans' influence is 95% of those that are publishing refereed journal. That's a statistic I read the other day. But I mean, different statistics come from different parts. But the people that actually don't believe there is a connection is a minority. But always when we have a majority opinion, the contrarian views get a lot of media attention as well, particularly in the run-up to Copenhagen. But the evidence is still in the majority, in the vast majority, that people are convinced about it.
That's the sad thing about something like this, that we do have scientific studies, that, and as you say, 95% of scientists say, yes, it is the cause, and another 5% don't. But the sad thing is it's become a political issue rather than a health issue or an environmental issue, and that's pretty sad. Let's go back to the cement.
Yes.
We got to have cement.
Yeah.
We got to build stuff.
Yeah.
How do you have a different kind of cement that you can make that doesn't?
Yeah, we are basically using existing secondary raw materials.
Okay.
Some people might call them waste materials, but waste material doesn't sound so good sometimes. And naturally occurring materials. if you think about the Pantheon, the building that stands in Rome with the hole in the middle,
Right.
one of the most famous buildings, I don't know exactly how old it is, but roughly 2,000 years old. And it stands strong. If it would have been made from normal Portland cement, maybe it would have already fallen down by now. I mean, because usually the long-term durability of normal cement is as well negatively impacted by salt water, chloride in the air. Cement is actually having some problems with certain environmental influences. So this Pantheon thing was built up. It looks a bit like concrete, but at that time Portland cement had not been invented. Portland cement was invented in 1750 by some guy in the UK. So what did the Romans use? The Romans used volcanic ash, mixed it with lime, activated it in an alkaline manner, and there we go. They got a very strong concrete-like looking building. And we go back to some old style materials. We can use volcanic ash. If you think about it, you know, Mount Pinatubo ash.
Yeah, it gave us a lot. Yeah,
Yeah. It's maybe a little bit old by now, and already in clumps and stuff like that. But theoretically, that type of material has got silicium dioxide, calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, all of those kind of minerals that you find as well in Portland cement. So you just need to know how to put them together. You can use fly ash from coal-fired power plants. Quite popular one other material is ground granulated blast furnace slag from steel making, a byproduct of actually putting the iron ore into a blast furnace, and you get this slag as a waste material. If you water cool that and grind it, it's a very, very good material that is already being used partially to replace cement and fly ash as well. But we are saying we can go even further. There will not be, the fly ash and the slag alone is not enough to replace all cement in the world. And we don't necessarily arguing let's close down all of the cement plants.
Right.
But in areas like in China and India, where we have massive infrastructure expansion, and we have this type of waste material there in abundance, no need to put up another cement plant that's gonna lock in damage to future generations for years and years to come.
Exactly. Now, this transformation, for example, from the normal cement to using this slag or whatever's left over, is there a problem with it because it's very expensive to produce, or can it be produced for about the same amount of money as normal cement if people knew how to do it?
Yes.
So it's an education sort of thing, or
yeah, it's actually more of an education thing. It's a business thing. Because, I mean, if you have a cement plant out there and you want to get your return on investment, you're not too keen to shift away to other materials, right?
Well, we had that problem with fuels.
You've already spent
Right.
millions, a couple of hundred millions to set up the plant.
Right.
So the big boys are doing some useful things. I mean, they are already starting to use this material, but not at the level we can use it. There is as well a certain concern about strength. Because normally if you put in fly ash or slag, you get lower strength development after 7 days. But after 28 days, this kind of catches up. That's the uniqueness about our technology that we have, my company, Malecki GmbH, who are based in Germany. We actually turned that around. We increased the strength without making it more expensive. We can play around. Hussein Malecki started 16 years ago working for a very famous German building chemistry professor, Professor Knöfel, at the University of Siegen. And his first job was, hey, this is the fly ash from Frankfurt Municipal Waste Incinerator. What can we do with this stuff, you know, rather than just dumping it there? So his professor got this research project asking him, find out how we can use. Now, the problem with municipal waste incineration is you've got heavy metals in there. You don't have that type of contamination in normal fly ash because the heavy metals stay down and the fly ash goes up. But in municipal waste incineration, you have quite some heavy metals in there. So Hussein Malecki actually looked at how to capture these heavy metals and how to use this fly ash as a cement replacement material. So he started off with spectrometry, with nanochemistry, with looking what's going on. How does this concrete get strength? And then only he moved into playing around with different formulations, after he had understood what goes on at a nano level with the chemistry of cement. How does concrete build up strength? Concrete is cement plus water plus sand. So he learned it from the fundamental R&D, research and development point of view, and only then he moved into product development. And then he moved into the development of specific products that were things like flooring. We have, for example, flooring systems. We have waterproofing systems, all based on this type of eco-binder system that we are using to provide same or better quality than what's out there now at similar prices with a massive green advantage of a lower carbon footprint.
Great. I think we'd like to talk about this a little more, but I think we're reaching about the first half of our program here. We're going to have to take a short break, but don't anybody go away, because we're going to talk some more with Mattias later, and we'll see you just on the other side.
Alrighty.